have never played The Legend of Heroes, not Legends. Trails of Cold Steel before. I did want to point out that it has the most awesome config menu I've ever seen in a game. If you hover over the different config options, it actually gives you like a little picture GIF telling you the difference between the different settings. So I wanted to include that in the VOD. But I haven't played this game before. I don't know what it's about. It looks super, super, super anime. Falcom, are they the guys that make Ys? I always get Falcom confused. This is a port? So what console was this originally on? The Ys guys, okay. Yeah, super, super anime. Try not to let that color my judgment of it too much. PS3 and Vita, okay. We live in this future where it's like, we know our audience, we don't have to translate the opening J-pop song. I know, right, Ikubo? There's definitely an era where they felt pressured to translate everything, but... Hey, Serp, what's up? Anime openings are still rad. I don't know. That's where prog rock lives on. Yeah, right? Not a third act surprise. How did that happen, Serp? Oh, poor Kaihan. You gotta build that long view now, right? She's gonna learn about investment. One of those instant gratification stuff. Well, that's awesome, Serp. Nice. It just feels like it's an incredibly specific RPG. Maybe I'm in the dark, and this game is way more popular. But it has a like really, really generic title, The Legend of Heroes. Okay. My dad played a good amount of video games when I was growing up, and he's gotten into a lot of these games that I've been into. Okay. It's an old franchise? Really? It's older than this game? Satisfyingly tough combat. Normal sounds fine. It always worries me when JRPGs have difficulty settings. That's cool, sir. I didn't know that. I was born when the NES came out, so 87. And I lived through Atari. We had a bunch of Atari games because they were pretty cheap. And then I almost didn't get the NES because I was like 3 years old, and my mom was going to get it as a Christmas present for my dad and told me about it. Like, I was with her at Kmart when she put it on layaway. And I I spoiled it to my dad. I said, Mom got you something that involves ducks and you hunt them. She's like, fine, I'm gonna take it back from layaway. Then she ended up getting it anyway, and the rest is history. Yeah, I've got everything set to ultra settings since my gaming PC's not doing anything else. What's the original Legend of Heroes game? Like, I thought this was the first entry in the franchise. Trails in the sky? Oh.
This is awful. What happened here?
Try to get an entire anime cast.
Are they using gunpowder?
They've completely blindsided us. It appears that everything else they've done today was to serve as a decoy. Even
Is that my man Cam Clark? He also played, what, Kratos in Tales of Symphonia?
Right. It looks like their real target was the railway guns all along, which means they must be serious about targeting that trade conference in Crossbell City.
They wouldn't. How can they possibly sink? So, they're intent on taking the Chancellor's head after all.
Resorting to such wanton violence? This is absolutely outrageous.
So lucky none of these characters look like each other at all. What a ragtag group.
Please, let us help. We don't know if reinforcements are on the way, and it doesn't look like we have much time left.
I think it's impressive how much 2D anime can translate to a 3D video game. It can just look like a 3D anime.
Green's right.
I don't know how much we can really do, but considering the alternative, we have to try.
Yeah, but none of them are wearing their uniforms the same way.
We're about to let those terrorists have their way.
Looks like any attempt to convince you otherwise would fall on deaf ears.
This is some seed
right.
stuff, gotcha.
Green, you and the rest of Group A are with me. Group B, you'll be under the command of Major Neidhart.
One group will secure the gun in the right wing. The other group will secure the left.
Neidhart.
This is an actual combat situation with real lives at stake. I expect the best from each of you.
Yes, sir.
Does Falcom use the same composers across games? This seems kind of like that insanely intense East music, which I really liked. I loved East Origin soundtrack.
We've learned a lot at the Academy. It's time to put that knowledge to the test.
Understood.
Switch leader, zoom in, dash. I'll just try all of them. Save your progress. Oh, I get to save whenever? That's cute. Alright. That's an immediate save. Game respects my time. I appreciate that. Notebooks, orbments. Okay. Reen, Emma, Jusis, and Sarah. Okay. Oh shit. Oh, a lot of characters. Okay. It's Katana Man. X tells me what I should be doing. Yeah. It was the same with East, Leon. Like, every single level and piece of the soundtrack of East felt like it was the final dungeon, which I kind of like. It's a cool stylistic choice. Okay. Maybe those were save points at some point. Yeah, right, sir. It's robots. We can kill them without any violence.
Just like that thing we fought during our field study. Mechanical monstrosities.
It's like the de facto how a female white mage holds a
Save
staff.
the talking for later. We need to take these things out.
I guess I don't know how else you'd hold it, but
Very well.
I guess you could like hold it with it firmly planted in the ground. Alright. Item crafts. Autumn leaf cutter. Encouraging shout to rouse allies. Mission arc-shaped shockwave. Oh. So this is like positioning matters chrono trigger combat. That's cool. I like when it's something more than just the most basic JRPG formula you can find. It's cool.
Second form. Damn.
S-break. Assuming the game will tell me what the hell that is later on.
Yeah.
Alright. Detector, analyze an enemy, unbalance them, heals an ally with the calm of the moon. Whatever the quote is from Skies of Arcadia. Several magical blades.
Dance, flames! Extra flare!
That's a pretty cool combat system so far. 2 turns in. Treasure sword seals foes in ice, then shatters it. Huh. don't know why it's called that, but right on.
Know your place.
First combat, we're doing thousands of damage. Everyone already has thousands of hit points. I think I agree with Serb. Probably weak against lightning, right? That would make sense. Speed down.
Here we go.
One seems to have a specific element.
There.
Cool. Ow.
My turn.
Magical high school students do arts and crafts. Yeah. Should figure out what the difference is. Consumes a different resource. Okay. I'll try the different options here.
My turn.
Okay, that also takes longer to cast, it looks like.
Arcus, activate.
Arcus activate.
Okay.
Yeah. Could make sense too, sir. Like, Lufia 1. There's a couple different ways they could do it.
That's the power of the 8 leaves.
Okay. Tell me about that power of the Keyblade, I mean the 8 leaves. Elemental crystals. Earth, water, fire, wind, darkness, holy, clear? I'll figure it out eventually. Something I would like to see from more RPGs is time and space. The power of clear.
Seems a large number of them are on the loose inside the fortress. I'm guessing that's what got the soldiers we just saw too.
Seems so.
I like to see more RPGs that give you an incentive to use something other than the vanilla attack
So
command.
These are archaisms.
So this is the true meaning of an archaism.
Are you certain, instructor?
Yeah, they're a kind of autonomous weapon made by a rather unsavory group, and a real pain to deal with, too. We need to hurry, but keep your wits about you.
Understood.
Just kind of a cool opening to a game. It reminds me of FF8 with Seed. Although that opens pretty chill. Reminds me of the FF8 demo, which opens with a mission like this. I think I can open these doors, can I?
My turn.
My turn.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay.
They have different attacks when they're out. That's neat. I wonder if that ever matters.
Okay.
I've got this.
Not clear whether that's actually doing anything. The fact that the month day is displayed in my UI is very worrisome to me.
Very well.
Enemy sighted. Take him out.
Does the, okay, I gave him an attack up, it looks like. Does the side you approach an enemy from matter? If you attack them from the back, do you get a preemptive strike?
Didn't see that coming.
Some flashbacks. Smash, okay.
Here we go.
Right on. I'm not gonna complain.
It's my turn.
Oh, she hits pretty hard with the
Stay
staff.
alert, everyone.
Swift and sure, unscathed. Okay. Force, Mirage, Mistral, Thor, Brave, Falco. She had a guaranteed brick.
Bring it on.
Okay. Didn't see that coming. Do it.
Go. Go.
The game eventually teaches you all this shit works, right? It's just that it's early enough, it's just trying to
Second floor.
throw a lot of options at you.
my turn.
I'm specifically not asking how some of these things work because I'm waiting for the game to tell me how to do it.
I shall fulfill my duty as a noble.
Oh, okay, man. Oh, man. Such an interesting in media res approach. Like, let's get you informed what all these characters, like, JRPG quirks are. Ah, I see. Triple advantage.
My turn.
Alright, right on. Really? Come on, dude, don't miss. CP up is nice.
Know your place.
Triple Bonga Blaster.
It's my turn.
Quintuple Smash a Million. I love it.
Burn and daylight.
Overkill First Strike Scouter. I can see that. It's a series for people who already like JRPGs. You're not going to convert anybody to JRPGs by showing them this game. Well, it seems like it has a lot of cool battle mechanics. It appears that the pillar is like healing me, but it's playing like traditional staying in an inn music, which is funny to me. Did they just like sleep there? Yeah. Well, props to it throwing you right into the action. A lot of JRPGs struggle with having like an hour of cutscenes before you get to play the game. Was it Persona 4? I think it's 4 hours before any mechanics happen. Which is part of the point of Persona, but... Pillar and pillow.
This must be the lovely account.
There!
Assuming that's what's happening. I mean, it's literally in the middle of things, but it remains to be seen whether we're going to flash back or not.
The railway guns.
They're enormous.
Damn. How did they manage to get them prepped so fast?
To let Kojima know how similar Pillar and Pillowmen are.
Don't tell me they're just gonna let them rip without even setting a target.
Instructor!
Oh, they're certainly not shy about bringing out the big guns.
Ugh, we don't have time for this. We need to take these things out fast.
Right there with you.
Let's send these cretins to the scrap heap.
Alright, blue-haired girl.
My turn.
Let's see. Alright, so presumably there's no... Ooh, there is Final Fantasy X-esque in-combat swapping. Cool. I'm a big fan of that. I feel like you're going to have a giant cast. You either need to do the Final Fantasy VI thing where you have the party split occasionally and you have to use both of them, or you need to do that. Judgment Bolt.
Arcus activate. Okay.
Luminous Ray. Blades of Condensed Insanity. I'm glad it's not Liquid Insanity. I don't know how they'd be able to deal with that shit.
I'm sorry for the trouble.
Understood.
Okay, and it doesn't consume a turn. It's good to know. Increases physical abilities with expensive magical ones. Vortex of Light. Tears the armor from enemies.
Shatter! Off guard.
There! Go!
We can overlay 2 abilities. Wonder if that does anything.
Very well. Arcus, activate.
Series of 8 50-plus hour RPGs. Yeah, I kind of in the same boat, Kaimam. Like, RPG has to work, JRPG has to work extra hard for me to like it now. Just funny because I grew up, this was the main genre that I played.
Leave it to me.
But I got burned enough starting in the, like, PS1, PS2 era that I don't just automatically assume I'm gonna like these games anymore. I should probably have somebody, analyze these guys. I think she had analyzed. I assume that since they're robots, they would be weak against lightning, but that appears to be incorrect.
Analyzing the enemy's vitals. All complete.
Can be burned. Weak against Earth? Am I reading that right? Assume that's what yellow magic is. Yeah, right. Okay.
With pleasure.
It's just to find out what the little glowy bubbles mean under the character portraits. I'm waiting for the game to tell me. Grand Press. Okay. I feel like it's floating. That shouldn't hit it, but, you know, I won't question it. I can't target that one. Because it bathes all in a holy light. Like, it attacks all regardless, okay. Draws in and compresses, huh?
Arcus, activate.
Usually assume that yellow means Earth.
Take this.
Of course.
Of course.
Shatter!
Ouch. Bright yellow is space.
Okay.
Lunar light, condensed insanity. Alright.
I'm sorry for the trouble.
Do I get many healing abilities in this game? Strength plus 25%, CP plus 10. Oh, I can only swap once. Okay, so it's not quite like Final Fantasy X. That can be all of this inventory.
You have my thanks.
Leave it to me.
S-Craft? Huh, okay. Right on.
Arcus, activate.
My turn.
Right, sir. They're definitely trying to, like, get all of that out as fast as possible here. Said before that anime characters, a lot of it seems to be like, hey, let's give each character, like, one quirk.
From here.
And that's all we need to do. We don't need to develop their character. Turns all to dust with the light of mighty towers. Try it.
Rise, great towers.
I'm excited to play Octopath. Turn-based combat can be fun. Some games can do it in a way that's interesting. There's not always just one right choice to make. Mother 3, I think, did a really good job where it had the timed attacks, so every turn was interesting, and it linked the timed attacks to the music of the battle you were in, and then there were like 100 different battle songs. So you had to tap and beat with whatever the battle theme was, and it was a new dimension of combat difficulty. Is the song hard to tap to? When attack misses, the target will counterattack if the attacker's in range. Okay, that's cool.
All right, let's do this.
And then there was a lot of like, okay, I need to buff. If I don't buff, I'm going to die.
Leave it to me.
Octopath's starting to feel grindy later on. That's too bad.
Arcus, activate. Get this.
Look, I can skip combat animations, which is cool.
Sorry.
All right, let's get this started.
She's mostly lightning damage. Should have her heal then.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Luminous Ray. I want to do the Blades of Condensed Insanity. Seen that animation before, so I'll skip it.
My turn.
Grab normal status except KO. Raise attack. Yeah.
Give it to me.
Do timed attacks help your appreciation of RPGs, Kaimam? Like, even like Mario RPG, I appreciate just because it gives me something dexterity related to do on my turn, and then the game isn't balanced around you successfully doing those. It's like all upside if you can land them. I wish most games had them, even if it was just a mild change.
Okay.
She does have healing.
Arcus, activate.
Oof.
Impossible.
Impossible. Figure out how those bonuses work eventually. Like how he's not dead. He's just bummed.
Suppose I should thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you should, dude.
I'm sorry for the trouble. All right, let's get this started.
Yeah, this is a boss fight. It's a good way to show off that the game's kind of serious. It's not going to be trivial, and I'm playing this on normal difficulty, which I like. Do you think if you're going to make a JRPG, you should at least make it tricky? Easy JRPGs are annoying, I think.
Okay.
Where it's like certain that you're going to win.
Counting on you.
I've got this.
Right now, I think I just need to kill one of these. Oh, wow. Is he like slowly healed himself almost all the way back to full? I'm going to lose this attempt then. Shit. I was doing pretty well on lowering his health earlier.
I'll handle this.
Grind machines you're never a fan of. I thought it was actually supposed to draw them in. I don't think it really did last time. Well, I'll fight them less stupidly next time. I want a turn bonus that heals me by half. My problem right now is that I can't
My turn.
get ahead on healing because I don't have any party-wide heals. At least as far as I can tell, I don't.
Flames, javelin,
was pretty good.
I won't lose like this. I leave this to you.
All right, let's get this started.
Plasma Storm.
Let's see you live through this.
Tries to introduce such a disabling status effect in a early fight.
That's embarrassing.
It's fun.
Wasn't strong enough.
My turn.
Yikes. Kill one of them, that will help to wrap up this taking less damage in. Really big spider on my computer. One sec, guys. Normally I would just let it live, but
You have my thanks.
Go.
oh, she didn't insta-die there. That's nice. It does project the turn order in the top left, right? Is that perfect information? It's always accurate? Okay, thank you.
You have my thanks. Right.
No probs.
Here we go. Sorry.
I'll take it from here. Arcus, activate.
All right.
Constant eye contact. Right. Oh, I lost eye contact. I didn't finish taking care of it. So it's gone. It was a pretty big one, too. Trading HP for CP. That's cool. He doesn't really have the way to do that safely. Insight status. Grants Earth Protection, erase defense.
Arcus, activate.
Now.
My turn.
Preserve normal status except KO. Okay.
Take this.
Now, was she just not close enough to finish her attack on that turn, so instead she moved close by? Buffs an ally with pure radiance. Hey Maz, how you doing?
My turn.
Gotcha. Should have shot it with her gun.
All right.
Is it good? That's cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Arcus, activate.
Leave it to me.
My turn.
Now.
You have my thanks.
I'm excited to figure out more of this game. It does seem like it's the right level of challenging, or the JRPG should be. There's not like a... Some games will let you press a button that explains what stuff means. Like FF9, you could press select and highlight it over a status and it would tell you what it means. I'm probably just gonna have to learn it when the game teaches me later, I assume. Yeah.
Leave it to me.
So usually I like spiders. Like if I see a spider in a web, I will leave it be. But if it's crawling on my stuff, I had a huge spider in the sleeve of my hoodie yesterday. I felt something, I thought it was like crumbs or something, so I grabbed it and pinched it and I heard a crunch and I was like, oh god. So I like took my hand out of it and then flipped my sleeve inside out and dropped it. Oof. If we're friends, just do your thing.
All right.
Spider bro.
Right.
Leave it to me. It's my turn.
Come on, Lord Alberian. Remember the rules of the treaty. Stay in your corner and we're good. I won't seek you out. Lord Alberian is apparently a set of 6 towers.
The battle's over, but stay alert, everyone.
Megatrix Scouter.
What an easy win.
Now, do only the people in the battle get XP at the end, or I assumed it would be anyone you swap in the axe? I think it's venomous. Venomous is it bites you, poisonous is you eat it, it makes you sick.
Is their cowardice no bounds?
We're running out of time. I'm gonna go on ahead. Follow me as soon as you're sure it's safe to.
Swap-ins was how it worked in Final Fantasy X. So Andrea would make sure that every party member got XP in every single battle when she played FF10. Swap them in, defend.
Railway guns.
Oh no.
I definitely
no.
appreciate it since it's trivial to swap in. Yeah, I agree that it's horrible. Andrea's sister Lisa got screwed because she didn't do that, so when she didn't have Yuna in her party, she got wrecked by the boss on the airship. Definitely one of those things where, like, it fails the 3 C's test. There's no challenge associated with swapping somebody in and hitting defend. There's no cost other than the time of it taking an extra turn to do. Yeah, it's not really a choice, it's just the correct thing to do. Cool. I'm okay with overkill as a mechanic. So my only problem with overkill is that it further rewards you for already being dominant. I think the intent is that if you go back and revisit an earlier area, that you continue to get decent XP because now you're killing things mightily. Crow armbrust. Crossbow. Major Nightheart is be great. That's what I'm saying. It's you don't need to snowball when you're already doing well. And there's a talking cat. Okay. And characters that just have a single English letter as their name. It's pretty anime. I got to the part in, I got to the part in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where there's a character named after AC/DC. Like AC/DC, Santana, Cars, and Wham. Shit's funny. No, don't track the fucking day of the week. Make that shit go away. I don't want that. 5 months earlier. Okay. It was in media res. The outskirts of the capital. Heimdall. Speaking of Heimdall, I was reviewing my La Milana 2 puzzles, and I think I have to go chant a mantra by that guy next time we play. I know, I'm kidding, Mega Man. I'm sure it's fine. It's non-clinical PTSD. Hey, Symmetric, how you doing? I don't know yet. I'll probably have to play it by ear. I don't think I'll be able to schedule it. Andrea's still jet lagged, so there's a good chance she'll take a long nap tomorrow and I can fit some in. I'd like to beat it though, so I might accelerate my request for hints of where to go, if not what to do. Yeah, I think I hate Persona with my core. A few things that I hate in this
The
universe.
Ministry of Railways wishes to thank all passengers for their patronage. This train is bound for Bereahard via Keldic. The next stop is Trista. Trista. We will be stopped at Trista for 1 minute. When disembarking, please ensure no belongings are left behind.
I think the first game I ever played with that intense of an in media res opening was Lufia 1,
Almost
which I played after Lufia 2. Lufia 1 opens with the final boss fight of Lufia 2.
full bloom here.
So I rented Lufia 2 from Blockbuster and fought it and beat the game, and then I rented Lufia 1, and it started with the same boss fight that I had just finished in Lufia 2, and I was super confused.
There was still so much snow on the ground.
But at least I knew how to use all my abilities and shit, so it didn't throw me off with, you know, option overload. I feel like I'd like Shin Megami Tensei, though. I definitely like Digital Devil Saga, once I kind of got a hang of the core gameplay loop alternating between, like, 3 or 4 hours of intense dungeon delving and combat, and then short story. I'm using pseudo-German. English, German, and French. Still need to play an actual SMT game, though. Digital Devil Saga is still a spin-off like Persona is.
Wow.
Andrea got a cool English shirt for Cameron. I'm mentioning it because I'm watching her baby cam right now. Front of it just says Vitality, all in caps. Sold it in Cambodia. The right says I love
Those
orange,
flowers?
and the left is just a capital letter M.
I've never seen so many all blossoming at once. I'll be spending the next 2 years here. Wonder how long it'll be before I
Oh,
think
so
of
it's
it
like
as
a Harry Potter JRPG.
I think I'm going to like it.
Harry Potter Final Fantasy VIII. I love it, Kai Mom. And she got a water bottle that has a bunch of like positive English words in it arranged randomly. One of
Sorry
them is
about that.
business,
Are you okay?
quality, life,
I
power,
should've picked
nice,
a better place to
business.
visit the scenery.
Don't worry about it. I should have been paying more attention to where I was going instead of gawking at the flowers. It's really a pretty town, though, isn't it? Just like a postcard.
Turbo. Oh, Turbo is the mode they add to PC ports for impatient gamers. Right on, so I could use that in like combat and stuff. Is there an auto advance button?
Yeah. I guess that's the magic of springtime for you.
So I
I
can
hope
keep pressing
everything
it.
in your case is okay.
Oh, don't worry about that. It'll be fine. Hey, you've got the red uniform too,
I
huh?
have a strong feeling you're gonna come to regret that, Serp, in the next couple hours.
Yeah, but now that you mention it, almost everyone else on the train had a green jacket. You're one of the few I've seen in red. I didn't really think about it until now. I just put on the uniform they sent me.
I hadn't given it much thought until I got here either. But yeah, like you said, there have been a few others sporting them too, so I doubt it's a mistake. Maybe
It's
it
coming.
means we'll end up being classmates.
I guess they just added swimsuits to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 via patch. I saw some Reddit post about it.
Anyway, I should get going. I've got a
Apparently that
feeling
game
we'll see
already
each
had
other again at the
problems.
entrance
Did not
ceremony,
also
though.
need swimsuits.
I totally forgot to ask her name. Oh well. I'm sure we'll run into each other later.
Fortunately, it's listed in the
Right, though.
subtitles.
It is weird that there are so few of us in red. Are there even enough to make a class?
Protagonist uniform.
That ornament they sent with the uniform is pretty strange too. It sure looks a lot fancier than your standard issue ornament, that's for sure.
I don't want to get into that debate right now, man. We can move
Guess
on
there's
from
no
it.
point in racking my brain over it. Someone will probably explain it during orientation.
I'll point you to my
Thor's
YouTube
military
video I made
academy's
for
in
it.
the north side of town. I've still got some time to look around before the entrance ceremony, but it'd be pretty awkward to be late the first day.
The high school thing has you less interested in the Cold Steel games. Has that been part of Legend of Heroes? Is that just part of the setting? Now view the summary tab in your notebook. Events that occur during the story are automatically recorded in this section. Access both by pressing the back button or by choosing the notes section in the camp menu and flipping through the various tabs. Okay. A lot of this was relevant in the opening scene. Huh. Okay. And I can save at will, so I should get in the habit of doing that. What's up? The Thor's students. Now, so far it feels slightly more Hogwarts than wherever the hell we went to high school in Persona, so hopefully that persists. I don't mind the magic school thing, assuming it's actually like, you know, combat magic school, and I'm not going to be taking a class on swimsuits or something similarly stupid. It's almost like I can tell who a player character is based on what colored jacket they have on. Oh man, kid's got a hoodie, fantasy hoodie.
I shall take my leave here.
It is, right?
I pray you find victory here in both your studies and your training.
There doesn't really seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. That's my only problem with J.K. Rowling, is she writes lore and builds her setting for the needs of the story, rather than the other way
I'm
around.
leaving everything in your hands while Father is away.
That's how you get a random plot element that involves time travel in the third book
Understood, milady.
that has significant implications for the rest of the story that are largely brushed off. I definitely prefer the other approach of design your setting and then write a story that fits in those rules, rather than make up
Please
rules to your
excuse my
setting to
rudeness, young sir.
fit the story so far.
It truly is a splendid day, is it not? The start of a new chapter in the lives of so many promising youths. Allow me to express my sincerest congratulations on your admittance into this fine academic
I still think Harry Potter is very
institution.
good. I'm just saying that from a setting development perspective, if you're into world building, I don't think Harry Potter's the story for you. Harry Potter is a mystery series that's about character development and characters, not so much world building. It's the Japanese RPG to, you know, Skyrim's Western RPG.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're very good. They're quick to read. They're fun.
I'm guessing he's a butler? He certainly looks the part.
If you want to read adult world-building focused Harry Potter, read the Kingkiller Chronicles. It's
That means
basically the
girl
same
with
thing.
him must have been a noble. She did have a certain dignity about her. I wonder if she's from a famous military family or something.
Patrick Rothfuss's joke, like, everybody says that I set out to subvert expectations in my books, but I wrote a story about an orphan that goes to a magic college. So much for that. Oh, you should totally read Kingkiller. I can't recommend it enough. I read it because I went to a Patrick
this is
Rothfuss
it.
panel with Pat and Mandy at PAX, because he's always been a special guest at their live D&D games. It's really, really cool setting, and almost all of the story flows from the world-building decisions he's made. Oh, it's a bummer, Darkstar. Amazon? Still
Thor's Military
replace it for free.
Academy.
Yeah, enjoy it for the magical pulp school mystery it is.
Founded by the legendary Emperor Dreikels himself.
Bummer. King Killer is super good. Super, super, super good.
Thank you for your patience, sir. We've arrived at the academy.
There's some, without spoiling King Killer, there's some unreliable narrator shit going on in those books. Especially if you've been to any Pat Rothfuss panels. He keeps telling the story where he tells you one story, and if you're paying attention to the illustrations, something very different is happening than what the text literally says. And his implication appears to be that the King Killer Chronicles are the same thing, and that, you know, most of it's not really what's being
That won't
told.
be necessary. I prefer to avoid standing out too much.
You kind of have to read between the lines.
Sir,
This isn't open for debate. Take whatever rest you need, then return to Berea Hard.
as you wish. I shall be departing, sir.
You could read it at face value, but I think it's a different book if you read it at face value.
Your time spent in these hallowed halls be all you've hoped for. Please take care of yourself.
Like, this is a mild spoiler for King Killer, but it's not really important in the overall story.
And one of Reinford's fanciest models, too.
There's a chapter that ends where the narrator says, "You shouldn't believe everything I say. Clearly I make shit up." And the very next chapter begins with, "And then I had sex with the goddess of sex." And you read it, you're like, okay.
Looks like even
Like,
Erebonia's upper crusts and their
something's
children
wrong here. Lord of the Rings is worth reading. It's very good. So you're introducing me to all these characters. Many of them are rich. It's not the Military Academy of Thor. No apostrophe.
Let's see. Yes, you're the last of them. That'd make you Green Schwarzer, right?
That's me.
Yes, that's me. But how do you know me?
It's a long story. Don't sweat the details right now.
She probably has a student role of all the students in
That's
red.
your weapon you've got wrapped up? I'll need to hold on to that for the time being.
It's peace bonded.
Oh, right.
Don't
You
worry.
mentioned something about that in the guidebook.
Thanks. We should be able to return it to you before long. You'll hardly even miss it.
The entrance ceremony is going to be held in the auditorium. Just head straight back. You can't miss it. Anyway, I hope you enjoy your first day at Thor's.
We're glad to have you. I hope these next 2 years will be a fruitful time for you.
Yeah. I haven't read anything new in a
Guess
while.
Those two must be second years. That girl definitely looked younger than me, though. What was that about me being the last? I'm not seriously the very last student to check in, am I?
He's just gotta wake up
Sounds
late
like
the
it's
next
about
day.
time for the ceremony to start, though.
Then he's all the way protagonist.
Here's to the start of a great 2 years.
Now, if I may, I'd like to say a few words in closing about this Academy's illustrious history.
I think that in media res was correct for this game. If it opened like this, it's a little slow, but you know that it gets intense later on. I can also hear where Dan Harmon's coming from in Rick and Morty. We should start their stories where they begin, not where they get interesting. Yeah, I love World War Z.
Thor's Military Academy was founded almost 220 years ago.
I can't speak for the movie, but the book's very good.
Its founder, as I'm sure you're all aware, was none other than the great Emperor Dreikels. The very same emperor who ended the War of the Lions and returned prosperity to the Erebonian Empire.
Erebonian. War of the Lions, is that just I guess you could have two different settings that have a War of the Lions.
30 years after becoming emperor, in the later years of his life, he opened the doors of this institution.
There's only so many animal nouns out there.
It was to be a place where young people like yourselves could learn the art of war.
Great. How delightful that is.
With the mechanization of the military, many of our graduates now pursue careers outside the army. Our mission, however, remains the same: to prepare our students to fulfill Emperor Draco's famous mandate. Arise, O youth, and become the foundation of the world.
Child soldiers, yay!
Though much has happened these past 2¼ centuries, the world is still the domain of the young. Yet still the question remains: what qualities must one possess to become a part of its foundation?
Right? I feel like all these students got Fulton ballooned
I
here.
hope this credo will serve as a guide and an inspiration to you during your 2 years at this academy. Go forth, my students. The world awaits the great things you will one day accomplish.
Philosophy, circle us.
The foundation of the world, huh?
Say what you will about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos.
No pressure, right?
Hey.
No kidding. Though this is Draco's the Lionheart we're talking about. He didn't earn his nickname by taking the easy road.
You're also a protagonist because you're dressed in red.
Guess we've got more to worry about than just passing exams, huh?
It's a fun shorthand, especially with all the anime characters. You don't know who not to pay attention to. I think the shorthand in most anime is that normal characters have normal hair colors and no frills on their costume.
I guess we do.
He's got like this weird armband thing. He's clearly important. Elliot Craig.
I'm Elliot Craig. Nice to meet you.
Ron Weasley, got it.
Hey, looks like we're sporting the same school fashion.
Yeah, no idea what the red uniform is supposed to mean, though. Most of the other students are wearing green.
And a military.
Well, except for the ones in the white uniforms. Those must be the nobles.
Looks that way. Though...
Something wrong?
Nah, just thinking to myself.
And that brings us to the close of Thor's 215th entrance ceremony. Next, please proceed to the class designated in your guidebook.
I don't think I've ever been at a presentation and talked through the whole thing. That's such a common video game movie thing.
There, you will go over the school rules as well as your class's curriculum. That is all. Dismissed!
The class designated in our guidebook? I don't remember seeing anything like that.
There wasn't any information on that in mine either.
Look at that guy. He's cool because he rolls his sleeves up and he's got tattoos.
I just assumed they'd tell us where to go after the ceremony.
All right, students in red uniforms, if I can have your attention, please. By now, you're probably all confused.
Janitors.
Where's my class assignment, you're probably thinking. That's perfectly understandable. Your situation is a little more complicated than the other students. But before I explain, I'd like all of you to join me for a special orienteering exercise.
What? Starfleet? Yeah, right, Yukapo.
Did you mean an orientation exercise?
That's awesome, Guy Mom.
Worry not. Everything will be made clear soon enough. Now, right this way, if you would.
I'm excited for Cameron to be old enough to follow along if I read to her.
Looks like we're gonna have to follow her if we want any answers.
Oh, we got Angsty Sigh.
What's this all about?
I have no idea, but we're not going to accomplish anything just standing around here. We should go with her.
And cut down on our massive cast problem. I don't mind a massive cast as long as they're drip-fed into you. Like Final Fantasy VI. You don't realize that you're getting like 18 party members until the game's almost over, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of people, isn't it? I'm trying to think of stories that have successfully opened with a shitload of characters. I guess Infinity War, but it did have like 18 movies and 10 years of build-up.
What is this place?
Why is there a building
Lost.
this dilapidated on campus? It looks like it should have been torn down ages ago.
Game of Thrones is borderline inscrutable to somebody watching the first episode that has no background on it.
What does she even want us to do here?
Is she ever gonna tell us what's going on?
I suppose we'll just have to go inside and see for ourselves what awaits us.
Chill out, kids.
This place looks like some old haunted mansion or something.
When I talk about wanting to delay the collapsing of the narrative wave function for as long as possible, I'm really talking about the beginning of Lost, Yukapo.
Now that you mention it, it kinda does.
It's like the poster child for that
This is
concept.
everyone I've seen with a red uniform so far. I guess we really are part of the same class then.
So, these are our new underclassmen, huh?
Yep. They've got a different set of hoops to jump through than we did, though.
Okay.
I'm just happy all our work's paying off. I'd hate to have put in a year's worth of effort for nothing.
Ain't that the truth? Wait, when did you do any work? You were just slacking off the whole time.
Says the master slacker. Still, looks like Elisa's got some stiff competition. Quite a bevy of beauties they've got there.
Oof.
And I'm looking forward to getting intimately acquainted with each and every one of them.
Okay.
Oh, you know one of them? Wait. No, not these ones too. Stop flirting with every damn girl you lay eyes on. Do you have any idea how many guys at this school have gotten their hearts broken because of your libido? Did you just sneer at me? Oh, you did, didn't you?
Come on now, no fighting, you two.
On the one hand, I'm excited for LGBT inclusion in Japanese media.
Nice
On the other hand, I'm concerned that that's the introduction to her character.
You got our little chickadees all sorted out, I take it?
Yep, they're all bright-eyed and ready to go. So from here on out, we're gonna have
Yeah, I think
to give it
Immediate
all
Res was the
we've got
right
to
choice
support
for this
legend
ninja.
class.
Now you sound the part of the student council president.
Guess she's going all in.
Well, they'd be in for a pretty rough time if we didn't help out a little. At least to start with, anyway. Everything's ready over there, right?
You betcha. Just like the instructor asked. Can't help but feel a little sorry for them, though.
Same here. They've got no idea what they're being tossed into. The class they've been picked for didn't even exist before this year. Guess all we can do is watch and see what they're made of, right?
It's go on a mission to fight robots class. There's a really short flashback. Yeah, you're there, Kai Mom. We'll see. My problem with a lot of anime properties is that a lot of their characters are very one-dimensional. Like, oh, this is the gentleman. He's a gentleman. Get it? He's a gentleman. Oh, this is the nerd.
The name's Sarah Valestine.
That's a problem in the West too sometimes, but especially I feel like when you do these giant ensemble casts, it's a shortcut.
I'm the instructor in charge of Class 7, which means you get the pleasure of seeing me all year.
That's what like Suicide Squad felt like, for example.
Glad to finally meet you.
Backstreet Boys, yeah. This is the bad one. This is Scary Spice.
Class 7?
Us?
I'm not sure I understand. I wasn't told anything about this at enrollment.
This room is super unfurnished.
Excuse me, Instructor Sarah? I was under the impression that there were only 5 classes at this academy, and that students were split among them based on their social class and home region.
You want to talk without me seeing stuff about things that are going to be revealed in the game later, you can type !hide before your message. That will let chat see it, but I won't be able to see it.
Right you are, Miss
In a
Top
program
Scorer
without your
on the
knowledge or
fourth entrance
consent.
exam. Students in each year are divided into 5 classes, 2 for the nobility and 3 for commoners. And it's been that way for ages, right up through last year. But this year, we decided to shake things up a little.
Surprise-based education, Six Gun.
What do you...
We have the advantage of the element of surprise. Surprise!
We now have a 6th class, fittingly titled Class 7. And in Class 7, we recognize no distinction between nobles and commoners.
Oh, so all of the protagonists get to have red jackets.
Wait, you just jumped straight from 5 to 7?
You're really putting nobles and commoners in the same class?
That sounds almost prophetic, Serp.
This must be some kind of joke. And why is this the first I've heard of it?
Well, who are you again?
Machias Regnitz.
He's really easily annoyed.
With all due respect, instructor, it's ludicrous to intermix nobles and commoners like this.
Great, he's Argoth from Final Fantasy Tactics.
I'd be forced to spend my next 2 years shoulder to shoulder with those arrogant, stuck-up hedonists?
No, he's the commoner.
I'm not the one who made the decision, right? Besides, what's the big deal anyway? You're all kids. Can't you all just get along or something?
Just get along? And how would you propose we do that? What's your problem?
Oh, nothing much. I just find the irony of your behavior rather humorous.
Is that so? It seems the scion of some noble house has left the comfort of his mansion to grace the unwashed masses with his wisdom.
A dedicated education professional.
Please, my lord, do share your esteemed name with us so I can give you all the respect you deserve.
Eustace Alberea. Not that I'd expect the name of an arrogant, stuck-up hedonist to lodge itself in that hard head of yours.
Oh man, I really hate both of these characters right now, but I'm sure that with time, I'll grow to love them. They're gonna grow.
One of the 4 great houses.
The son of Duke Alberea, lord of the Kreutzen province in the
Pissed
southeast.
off Potter, right? Come on.
Well, you don't get much more noble than that.
Interesting. I'd heard the rumors.
Do you expect me to be impressed? Your family lineage means nothing to me. I'll never bend my knee to the likes of...
Okay, that's enough.
There we go. Authority.
I'm sure a couple of you have a few grievances, but now's not the time. I'll hear your complaints later.
They're at least helping me to associate my protagonist, guy who hates rich people, Ron Weasley, guy who hates poor people.
Right now, you've got your orienteering exercise, and far be it from me to keep you from our fun little icebreaker.
I don't know what the deal is with tattoos, shy white mage stereotype, and blonde girl Aria.
You mentioned this orienteering exercise earlier. What exactly does that involve?
It's a form of outdoor competition, isn't it? Something like a cross between a map reading exercise and a scavenger hunt?
She's informed.
Is that why they asked us to hand over our weapons at the gate?
Nothing gets by you, does it?
Orienteering is just map reading.
But I don't want to spoil the fun, so let's get started, shall we?
What?
Oh, crap.
What?
Yeah, I'm mostly just kidding, Keaton. Aforementioned comment about anime reliance on the 3-word descriptor.
Come on, Fee.
We could alter hates
No
poor
cheating.
people to
You're
arrogant
going
if we
with them,
want.
and that's that. What's the point in having an icebreaker if you don't make a couple of new friends?
And then everybody died.
Lame.
Targaryen Ninja Girl. Yeah, I like the beginning where the music was all over the top.
The floor gave out from under us.
Gotta get your wacky shenanigan BGM.
I can't believe I fell for such an obvious trap.
I'm trying to think what my favorite wacky shenanigans song is in JRPG history. Uematsu's made a lot of good ones.
Does this mean there's a series of catacombs beneath the school grounds then?
What does that woman think she's playing at?
was gonna jump out of my chest. Hey, Reen, are you okay?
Easy now.
I told you, sir. What's the timestamp? Fucking called it. God damn it.
What happened? Huh?
It's true. He's making a specific effort not to. Social progress. Good job, Japan.
Really sorry about that. Still, I'm just glad you're okay. That's what's really important here, right?
Oh my god. Oh my god! Although actually it was sort of obvious.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. It's just not your day, is it?
Well, now that I've hit the bottom, things can only improve.
Alright, I feel like I've made my sincere opinion on this kind of bullshit so abundantly clear at this point with the community that I can just laugh at it now. But know that when I'm laughing, it's out of scorn in most cases. And disappointment. Baka. Right.
What is this place anyway?
I was wondering the same thing. We should check out those tables. Huh?
Is this
the true meaning of cell phone?
It's coming from the devices we received with the Academy guidebook.
Seems to be some sort of portable orbment.
Right you are. These handy little devices are a special kind of battle orbment.
I think people thinking that anime is anime and it's for the audience that it's for is the reason that anime never gets better.
Is that Miss Valestine?
There's no market pressure in the East or West saying, hey, maybe we should suck less about this sort of thing, gender roles.
So these devices have built-in communications functionality then?
Wait, don't tell me these things are...
New model battle orbments made through a partnership between the Epstein Foundation and Reinford Company.
Yeah. It's true for a lot of genres, though. I mean, like, the cookie-cutter summer blockbuster action movie, like, we all complain about, you go to every Disney-produced Star Wars or Marvel movie, and you can feel like there's the executives in the room saying we have to have a joke every 3 minutes, undercutting the tension. It's because the market doesn't say, no, that's bad. The market says, yeah, but that's what we want.
They made fifth-generation battle orbments, in fact. They're called Arcus units.
So I think that means that the onus becomes more on the audience to reject bad content than it is on the creators.
Arcus.
It's the Will.i.am conversation we were having a couple weeks ago that, you know, he says, why would he write good lyrics if shitty lyrics sell just fine? I can't really fault him.
These are battle ordnance. That means they'll allow us to use arts, right?
And it's hard to tell him,
Sure
Spiky.
will. Just set a quartz into one of its slots, and you can use arts all the live-long day.
There are exceptions out there, right? Like, it's practically non-existent in Death Note, for example.
Which is why I've prepared enough quartz for each and every one of you.
Cool. It is trying to compete with Persona.
The weapons you brought are all here too, each packaged neatly along a little box containing a quartz. Find yours, and try setting the quartz into your Arcus.
Cool. Put a shiny rock in my cell phone.
I suppose it can't hurt to try.
I may have misspoke if that's how you agree with me. I think that the audience needs to change, and we have the right to be disappointed in creators for not changing ahead of the curve. It's not that, oh, well, the audience is all racist, so we should make nothing but racist media for them. Like, entertainment media is why gay rights has moved so quickly, so suddenly, because a lot of entertainers decided we're going to not portray this stereotypically anymore. We're going to show realistic LGBT relationships. So people, even if they didn't know someone who was LGBT in their real life, they would see it in a movie, or they'd read it in a book, or they'd play it in a video game, and that helped kind of turn the tide. So there is a moral onus on creators to not continue to put out garbage, but at the same time, like, it's a shared burden. This guy has good female characters by Japanese game standards.
Thinking.
I'll give credit where credit's due in this game so far. At least, like, they appear to have flipped a coin in terms of, like, the competency of all the characters.
Let's see. Mine is...
And other than that
I see mine over there. Let me just
ridiculous,
go grab it, okay?
tropey protagonist with the blonde girl situation, like, none of their genders have come up at all in terms of who they are or what makes them relevant. They planted the sword you should be picking up. Force.
What's this?
That's called a master quartz.
Put it in your cell
Put that
phone.
into the large slot in the center of your Arcus, you'll be able to use arts. Go on, give it a try.
Do they use the word English? Do they use the English word arts in Japan? I've seen it in a lot of games at Materia. Extract horrible energy from septium. Shit. Use it to generate magical effects and enhancements. So there's 7 elements then? Oh, no, looks like there's 8. Person used device that harnesses orbital energy in a variety of ways, depending on the quartz set in it. So they're tailor-made for their users. The ornament's internal structure varies from one unit to another. Circuit made from septium fragments called sepith. Special kind of quartz can be set into the center, which are stronger and more adaptable than regular quartz, and by fighting battles with one set in your orbit, it will level up and gain abilities. Oh, okay. So it levels up in addition to the character leveling up, maybe. Or instead of. So this is the meaning of Master Quartz. Orbment, Quartz, Master Quartz, Force. Oh, it is basically materia, okay. In addition to them.
What in the world?
That light means that you've successfully synchronized with your Arcus. Congratulations! Now you can use arts as much as you want. These Arcus units have plenty more nifty features. But I wouldn't want to bombard you with too much info all at once, so we'll cover those another time.
Thanks, Sarah. You should tell that to the opening sequence.
Anyway, since you've got your Arcus all set up,
It's like it
and ready to
knows.
go, here's what I want you to do. When you step through that door, you'll be in an underground testing area. Basically, it's a dungeon. It's pretty large and full of twists and turns. I'd almost guarantee you'll get lost at least once. But when you find the exit, you'll be able to return to the first floor of this old schoolhouse. There are monsters wandering around, though, so don't let your guard down, even for a moment.
Hey, non-random battles.
With all
Hype.
that said, let's commence our special orienteering exercise. Your objective is to make your way through this area and back to the surface. Make it back in one piece, and I'll be happy to field any complaints you might have. If you make it back safely, I might even give you a kiss. Free of charge. On the cheek, of course.
Alright, never mind about the whole Sarah is a good example thing. Oof. Yeah, right. You didn't have too many dungeon monsters in your orienteering, Kai Mom?
I don't think she's joking.
And just where do you think you're going?
It's a
Are you
difference,
planning to
Manok,
wander off on your
between
own without saying anything?
appealing to the lowest common denominator and rising above that, because like the lowest common denominator will still buy your material even if it's not down to their level. If Will.i.am wrote a song that had good lyrics but it still had the same instrumentation, he would sell it to the same audience. It's just it requires more work for him to make a good product than a lowest common denominator product. So he says, I'm gonna get paid the same, why would I put in effort, right?
I have no interest in becoming friends
Don't count your
with
PE
anyone
teacher.
here. And I'm surprised that you, of all people, would give a damn what I do. Unless you've suddenly decided you do want to keep company with one of those stuck-up hedonists after all. Still, if you're afraid of the monsters, I suppose I could accompany you. After all, what kind of Erebonian noble would I be if I didn't have at least some degree of prowess with a sword? And noblesse oblige dictates that it's my sacred duty to protect powerless commoners such as yourself.
What the hell? Nobody's asking your high excellency to deign to help us.
These two could use some genre savvy.
But if that's how you're gonna be, I'll just find my way out of here before you. I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself without some relic of an outdated class system dragging me down.
All right, pissed off revolutionary Harry Potter. Yeah, right, sir. See, that's what I'd love someone to make. I want someone to make the parody of this. Make it a 70-hour RPG, but have characters that realize where this is going already.
The only thing we can do. We should begin exploring these ruins ourselves.
Never split the party.
I believe it would be prudent to remain in small groups, however.
That's
Would
how many
the two of
characters.
you have any objections to accompanying me?
Oh, no, that's fine.
It would be a huge help, actually.
And you're welcome to join us as... Well, I suppose that's a no. Perhaps we'll run into her along the way, and she can join us then.
That'd be the bestest bros.
So, shall we be off? I'm certain you gentlemen will be fine, but do take care.
Okay.
If you'll excuse us, please.
No, it would be great if the angry commoner Harry Potter like fucking murders the noble or something. That's where I would love this to go at this point.
Such a hot first
But I
impression
think
there, huh?
Serp's prophecy is going to come true for sure.
Say that again. I'll have to clear things up with her later. Anyway, how do you guys want to do this?
It seems like this is a game that is much more about, I guess it's like Ys, right? Ys is a mechanics game, and a story exists in order to explain why you're going from mechanical encounter to mechanical encounter. Maybe that's just what Falcom makes, right?
Should the three
And
of
that's
us stick
fine.
together too?
Sounds good to me. I'd get pretty anxious wandering around a place like this alone.
No objections here. I'd be happy to accompany you.
If their goal is we want to have like 12 characters that you can swap between in combat, and the combat's challenging and is positional, and totally on board. They need to find a way to explain why that's happening that way. Gaius Wurzel.
I don't believe I've introduced myself yet. My name is Gaius Wurzel. I just arrived in the Empire, so any help you can offer would be much appreciated.
All right, man.
So you're from abroad. I'd been wondering.
Explains why your shirt's untucked and your sleeves are rolled up.
Schwarzer. It's nice to meet you.
I'm Elliot Craig. So, you fight with that?
Of course. Why else would I be carrying it?
Like, they gotta have a character here that happens to use the same weapon as another character and be like, ooh, don't think we can allow that.
It's a spear, but it has that odd cross-shaped head.
Gaia root.
It looks kind of awesome.
Think of it as combining the best parts of a spear and a poleaxe. I was pretty handy with it back home.
Is that a glaive guisarme?
But speaking of weapons, I have to say, yours looks pretty unique.
Right, Yukupo?
Oh, this thing.
Is it a staff? Wait, no. It's an orbment, isn't it?
Both, actually. It's an orbital staff. The tech is pretty recent. This one's still a prototype, more or less. Back during enrollment, they told me I had some aptitude for it. So when it came time to choose, I just sort of ran with it.
At least they all appear to have weapons. Like, nobody has like a book or an umbrella or a...
Interesting. I've never seen anything like it
I think
before.
the weirdest weapon we've ever seen in a game. It might be Shadowheart's and the Geppetto puppeteer guy.
They're still in development, apparently, so there aren't too many around just yet. But that said, I'm curious about what you've got there, Reen.
Oh, my sword?
Yeah, but
Just close my eyes to look cool.
It's different from the kinds of swords I thought the people in the Empire used, though.
It's an Eastern style of saber called Itachi. Any way you slice it, though, it's basically a longsword.
So there's gonna be a Wutai level in this game.
The craftsmanship looks exceptional.
They're renowned for the layering of their steel and the sharpness of their edge. Truth be told, though, I'm still a little hesitant to be swinging around something this dangerous.
Shadow Hearts actually kind of reminds me of JoJo, that it's like leaning really into the absurd anime elements, Let's just go as absurd and ridiculous as we possibly can.
Seriously? If that's what hesitant looks like, I'll bet confidence will make you unstoppable.
Well, you sound like a good guy to have around when the going gets tough. Speaking of which, I think we've been standing around long enough. We should really be getting ourselves into trouble.
Finish showing each other ours.
You saw it yourselves. Trouble has a way of dropping in on me. Let's take it slow and steady, though. We need to adapt to each other's fighting styles to really gel as a team.
Got it.
Roger. Change the party leader in the camp menu, or select bumper, use the tactics to change the party order as well as your battle formation. A to attack enemies on the field, and attack from the front will cause an enemy to pause briefly. Attack from behind, they're stunned for a short time. Attacker's weapon type is effective against them. Triple advantage, walk into a fainted enemy. Walk into a stunned enemy. That's kind of cool. I like weapon effectiveness being relevant for first strikes on the field. That's kind of neat. Geppetto was the one where, in order to upgrade his living doll, which is his weapon, you have to go to a gay tailor and give him gay porn, and then he'll give you elemental outfits for the living doll. You're right. If your level is significantly higher than the enemies, you can defeat them with a field attack. Hey! This game came out 20 years after Earthbound. Someone's doing it again. I like it. That's the same mechanic, too. Big fan.
A monster?
Yeah, don't stress.
Never seen this kind before.
It looks like a flying feline.
All right. Here we go.
Right.
Can I tell which one is its weakness based on the animation when you attack them at first?
Enemies ahead! We'll have to fight.
Active combatants each take an action on their turn. After doing so, the ally or enemy below them on the battle bar takes their turn. Turn bonuses. Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, so this is kind of like Xenosaga mixed with Final Fantasy X. I like it. Alright.
Here we go.
0 arts is 1. The attack command displays the character's movement and attack range. Inner circle is movement, outer circle is attack. Only moving to where it's displayed. Okay. Roger. Dealing and receiving damage, you will gain craft points. Okay. But there's 2 different resources, one that automatically regenerates and one that's fixed.
Right.
Does EP regenerate at the end of combat?
Leave it to me.
Nothing personnel good.
Here we go.
Autumn leaf cutter.
There.
Right.
I see.
It's my turn. There.
Here we go.
It's too bad.
All right. Together, we're unbeatable.
Tell him, man. Numbers seem a lot more reasonable now, too.
Please tell me there aren't more of those things lurking around here.
I hate to tell you, but I can sense more further in.
You can sense monsters? Alright. What the active voice and monster guide? Last 50 active voice lines heard. Okay. Does monster guide give you comparable data to as if you... Wait. Fighting a given type of enemy gradually unlocks information about them. That's neat. I like that. Okay.
All right. I've got this.
So how quickly can I see that? Where do I see the monster record? Is that this? Oh, here we go. Flying feline. We don't know yet for most of the answers. Weak against fire. But we don't know weapon weakness off the bat, it looks like. Okay. S rank, C rank. Neat. I like the square wave in this song. Alright, but thou must.
Oh, a treasure chest!
Needle shoot. Several varieties of quartz can be used with Arcus orbments. Quartz that enable you to use specific arts. Quartz that increase your stats. Multiple functions. Neat. So materia, got it. Oh, you're kind to say so. I played a lot of JRPGs. Launches a sharply pointed boulder at an enemy with a 20% petrified chance. This guy we wanted to see. He actually has air attacks, despite being named Earth Root. Oh, he has air attacks equipped. I see. Alright, guess we'll give it to him. Quartz was in Trails in the Sky as well. What's the unifying theme across this Legend of Heroes series? Is it the combat system? Is it like Final Fantasy, where there's certain like lore objects and animals like Moogles? Now, games within a given sub-series, like Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, take place in the same universe, or is it still like an anthology like Final Fantasy? Yeah, the UI in this game is very clean. I actually haven't seen a mini-map that shows Z-axis information like that before. I really like that. Cool, that was my guess.
My turn!
Turn around, bright eyes. Maybe he doesn't. He was facing away when we first got in the room. There we go. Probably can't get back behind them after that, can you? Guessing no. Arts are kind of magic which require an orbment to use. It can be used by setting a quartz or master quartz into an orbment. Require time to cast and consume EP. Okay. Shows how effective arts of each element will be. 50%, 55%.
Here we go.
Neat.
Arcus, activate.
Yeah, if it had a Fog of War, that would be really nice, Leon. Now, it seems like this game is very, very tightly mechanically designed Japanese RPG. It's reasonably challenging, even despite having a large cast of characters and a lot of options, which I like. I feel like too many RPGs go for, let's have a somewhat uninteresting story and a too easy gameplay. You never really have to think about playing it well.
My turn!
If I had to choose between the story being amazing or the gameplay being amazing in a JRPG, I'd probably take the gameplay.
Leave it to me.
They aren't kidding when they said strong against physical shit.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah, I liked the idea of Child of Light. Hard mode's more interesting. You actually have to use all the mechanics.
I'm starting to lose my sense of direction down here.
Yeah, gotta make sure we're not going in circles.
I do really wish that they would not have difficulty settings, though, and just design the game with the difficulty setting that they wanted the players to experience it with. And this one I picked normal, which seemed like a good balance for me, but... I agree entirely with the Donkey video on difficulty. You always fight me on difficulty settings, yeah. You can make it secret or put a cheat code or some other in-game way. It just makes it very hard, like, normal in this game means something different than it means in every other game. Hard is the base difficulty, the intended difficulty of The Last of Us. The fact that there's no way to know for sure is tricky. Teach me about AoE? Status efficacy. Alright, I should read through this real fast. Poison is what you'd expect. Seal is what you'd expect. Basically paralyze. Mute. Blind. Sleep. Burn at the end of their turn. Freeze is a worse burn. I guess freeze is less damage than burn. Petrify. Shatter. All damage is critical. One hit KO. Oh god. Delay. Vanish. So it kind of feels like a combination of Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, Xenosaga Episode 1, Final Fantasy X, which is nice. I feel like those games all have good ideas, and we should see something that takes advantage of all of them. Single target only. Oh, nice. There's an enemy. Oh, he moved too far away for that to work. Okay. That's probably a good way to put it. They can work. They're not necessarily, like, wrong across the board.
My turn.
I think it depends on how much information you give to the player as well about what the difficulty settings actually do.
It's my turn.
One of the games we've seen someone play recently had this as the benchmark for difficulty. Oh, that is nice, yeah. This is what the developer expects you to pick, basically. The only thing I don't like is when you can't tell what the intended experience is supposed to be. I also don't mind discrete difficulty settings. In fact, I think that might be the best way to approach it if you're gonna do difficulty settings in the first place. So that's the... Ooh, I didn't realize that I had a slight AoE to it. That's cool. Okay, good to know. Like, letting you choose whether permadeath is a thing in Fire Emblem is a discrete difficulty setting. There's a couple things like that I want to say in, what's the game? Darkest Dungeon. You can, like, turn off corpses. And then what you do with that is you say achievements are disabled if you turn these things on or turn these things off. Then the developer can broadcast what their intent is more clearly. Yeah, you can hear that, Leon. Darkest Dungeon has straight difficulty settings too. I didn't know
Elliot,
that.
are you okay? I don't see any obvious injuries.
Right, and I've definitely played games that balance normal and then just up numbers and don't really do any testing.
I'm okay. I was just so relieved the fight was over. The strength kind of just left my legs. I'm amazed how calm you two are. You don't seem tired or worried or anything.
Theoretically, everyone can play the way they want, but people also don't know what the way they want is based on the descriptions of the difficulty. Unless if it's very explicit about, oh, no, it's going to take 4 shots to kill an enemy instead of 3, right? You don't know what you're going to like unless if you're willing to play the game multiple times to find out which one was actually for you all along.
I guess I'm just used to fighting monsters like these.
Oh, that's cool, sir.
You need a hand?
No, I'll be fine. It was just a momentary lapse on my part. I can get up. And there we go.
Because they just upped the numbers? That's crazy, Spiky.
Elliot!
What?
It's another bug.
No!
What?
Looks like I made it just in time. Thank Adios for that.
Yeah, but the description isn't necessarily a good representation of what the player actually expects from those descriptions, right? The example in the famous Donkey video is like playing Halo on Legendary versus playing Halo on Heroic.
You said your name was Machias, right?
What he wants is a difficulty setting in between the two of them, but it doesn't exist because the developers didn't come up with the setting that was for him, or was their intent.
That's right.
Got a cool shotgun.
I came to realize that I shouldn't have just stormed off like I did.
I came to realize I can't solo this dungeon.
That arrogant noble goaded me into losing my composure, acting on impulse. So I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I acted foolishly, and I hope you can forgive me for it.
No sweat. Water under the bridge.
Yeah, we all have moments when we say or do things we regret. That's human nature for you. Oh, and thanks for saving me, by the way.
I'm just glad I happened to be passing by. After I'd cooled my head, I decided to retrace my steps, and there you were.
It's also true, sir. But I'd rather have it be
just the 3 of you here?
artist's choice than a lame attempt at my
We
choice.
stood around talking for a while, so the others are probably ahead of us at this point.
Like, I think the extent of difficulty setting that I would like would be what we intend and non-existent challenge, and no gradation other than that.
I don't think there's any reason to go back any farther. I can't imagine you'll find anyone there.
So like you have the, combat will be mash the A button, you'll always win, or this is what we actually balanced and spent time on.
I see. I don't suppose you'd mind if I came with you, would you?
Yeah, normal was not the correct difficulty for iconoclasts.
I'm reasonably skilled with a gun, so you might find it useful having me along.
Sure thing. Welcome aboard. The name's Reen Schwarzer.
I'm Elliot Craig. It's nice to meet you.
My name is Gaius Warzel. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure's mine, I assure you. My name is Machias Regnitz. Could I ask you what social class you each belong to?
If you really don't care, why do you need to know?
I realize how that must sound, considering my recent outburst.
Yeah, it does sound bad,
Please
dude.
don't take it personally. I'm simply curious to know who I'm associating with.
Well, both my parents are commoners.
Likewise, though my homeland has no class system to begin with.
Hey, guys, is
So
on
you're
land.
from abroad, then? What about you, Reen?
Well, let's just say I haven't got a drop of noble blood in my veins. So I guess we're all in equal standing here.
So,
now that's a relief.
Careful way to phrase that. Ooh.
We should probably get moving then.
Yeah, learn to read the room, guy.
Girls, as you might imagine. I'd feel much better if we were around to help if they wound up in danger.
I think you're right about that,
I
Spiky.
suppose there's strength in numbers.
Normal
All right,
skews
let's
easy.
go.
Expand the minimap by pressing start. That's cool. I love how Harry Potter doesn't pick up on it either. He's like, all right, fair enough. It was a very specific way to phrase that, but I trust you're not trying to trick me. Guys is also chill, which is nice. Everyone else is kind of a little bit uptight. Yeah, I think if you're gonna get difficulty settings, Yukupo, they should let you change it mid-game if you realize, oh, this wasn't actually for me. Having it be a title screen lock-in like Kingdom Hearts, I think, is the wrong way to do it. And I'm not saying that difficulty settings are a incorrect game design decision. Like we've said, some other things are correct or incorrect. Like, having to choose the gate key to leave the levels in Dark Cloud 2 is incorrect. There is just a strictly better way to do it. I'm just slightly opposed to difficulty settings in most cases, unless the developer makes a special effort to carefully define them or offer
What's a place like this
gradient of choices, that sort of thing.
Yeah, who puts a giant trapdoor in a campus building?
Hey, the very first question on the PAX panel application is, have you given us a panel before? So I tried to pick the panel title and content that was the most attractive to the organizers, and that worked. So I could make something that's more interesting to me but slightly less attractive next year. Probably for TwitchCon as well. Probably the only reason I would go.
The wind's behind us. Let's go. My turn.
I think Bioshock Infinite on normal worked for me as well, because I'm kind of bad at FPS games.
There. It's my turn.
Can I just barely not target all of them? Shit. That's too bad. I'm gonna move him closer. I guess move is also a combat option, isn't it? Needle shots, break shots, single target. Oh, he's got pretty big AoE. That's cool. I do like having a recharging resource. I guess I'd still prefer that EP recharge in between combats. It's not like super critical to my enjoyment that it worked that way, but I think that generally the design of having to conserve a resource in between battles is less interesting to me than designing every encounter knowing that the player is going to begin the combat at full resources. Independent of the charging resource, which absolutely the player should have to start from zero and charge every time.
Leave it to me.
You have less recovery time on move. That's cool.
Here we go.
Leave it to me. That takes care of them.
That's another personal preference thing.
Nice.
I don't think it's correct to, you know, have a regenerating resource versus not have one. There are certainly games that handle that well and games that don't. But I think it's much easier to balance your encounters if you can always be certain of what resources the player has at the start of an encounter. That's true for, like, Dungeons and Dragons
The wind's behind us. Let's go.
dungeon design as well.
Go.
If you're a DM, you can't be sure if your party's blown all their dailies. So you can have a fight that's easy if they just rested outside, but really hard if they're low on resources. makes it challenging to plan. Covering refills HP and EP. That's cool.
Leave it to me.
Generating health hit scan FPSs are bad on higher difficulties. Devolves into hiding longer and memorizing spawns, right? Like,
Alright, let's keep moving.
Fortnite when money is on the line. I think you're right.
Leave it to me. Here we go. Right. Now's our chance. We can do this.
Double damage.
All right. My turn. Right. Huh. Take this. Ha.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What's the elevator pitch for Blades in the Dark? I don't know anything about it.
Oh, we did it!
You get a pretty big XP multiplier for achieving some of those goals. That's neat. I have this game set to autosave every minute as well, so I probably don't need to be saving so aggressively.
It's my turn.
Tell him, Gaius.
Now's our chance.
Mr. Earthroot.
My turn.
What's a casual English word that describes games like Super Mario Bros. 3 and the likes where you advance by beating the game level by level? Not linear. Like it has discrete areas. Not an open world. I think platformer. You can have a platformer that's got an open world that doesn't have discrete levels that you move through.
Leave it to me.
Right. You're talking about the way that the different areas of the game are parsed out, right? I have to think about it. Nice.
My turn.
It's a good question. No, level has so many meanings. I like the word discrete in English to describe something like that.
My turn.
Name it, Kaimon.
My turn. There. It's my turn. It's my turn. Together, we're unbeatable.
Interesting note. Cat and a lot of his friends, Cat and Donovan, don't use the word level, they use the word board. Which I did not realize was like a regional thing. So they'll say you're on board 1-1.
We meet again.
Or I hate this board.
Good to see you guys are hanging in there.
Yeah, me neither. I was really surprised.
I'm glad the four of you are unharmed as well.
Well, it seems you've cooled your head a bit at least.
This is my favorite board in the game.
Yes, I've calmed
Yeah, stage, level, map, course, board, zone, world.
At any rate, I don't believe I've introduced myself yet, have I?
Japanese calls it field. Interesting. I would use zone, I think, to describe the areas of La Milana.
I'm Laura S. Arstade, from the town of Legram.
Okay. I love the middle
It's a
initials.
pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Huh. LeGram.
That's down on the southeastern outskirts of the Empire, isn't it?
Correct. It's an old castle town on the shores of Lake Ebble. We're connected to the rest of the country by train, but other than that, it's a fairly remote region.
That name sounds so familiar. Wait, so your father would be...
Yes, my father is Viscount Marstead, Lord of Legram.
I remember Kami was in here the other day when we were talking about English, and he's like, English isn't that hard to learn phonetically. I'm like, how do you explain Viscount? I pronounced that wrong for the longest time, because I'd only ever seen it written.
Do you take issue with that?
No, not at all.
Oh, he's such a fucking hip.
Magius, was it? I can only speak for myself, but I don't feel I've ever done anything to bring shame upon myself in
Of course, when it's a girl, you're not a dick.
And I fully believe the same to be true of my father.
Please, I meant no offense. I'm sorry if I,
The internet made everyone start calling every main single-player mode the campaign.
Say, I don't believe we've been introduced.
The campaign was borrowed from tabletop to mean, you know, connected story. It's a fault of the French,
I'm Emma Milstein.
where you skip like several of the consonants.
I come from a distant region of the Empire. I was only able to attend Thor's thanks to a scholarship, in fact.
That was ultimately my point to Kami, Leon, in the conversations. English has so many loanwords that are not absorbed and required to fit any kind of core set of rules like Japanese would require.
It's
you know.
very nice to meet you.
A scholarship? Indeed.
We'll take your word, and you can keep your rules.
Our instructor did
That's
say
fine.
yours was the top score on the entrance exam.
It'll just make the language inscrutable to anyone trying to learn it.
I think I was outdone. By a girl, no less.
God, he's a total
Must be
sexist.
quite the prodigy.
Maybe it seems like it now, but really, I'm not. I don't have any training in the martial arts either, so this is the weapon they recommended for me.
I got an S for no reason.
Oh, cool. You got an orbital staff too. Yours looks different from mine, though.
Okay, it looks sufficiently different that we're not going to get confused.
So it does. I wonder if it's just cosmetic.
Is this how people introduce themselves to each other? Show off their weapons?
Is something the matter? We're all acquainted now. It's only proper that you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I think I'd use map for a competitive multiplayer stage, level for a game that has discrete stages, and then I'd use zone for like a Metroidvania, where it's an all interconnected world, but there's a clear difference in certain areas.
Yeah, okay.
You know how child soldiers are.
I'm Lisa R. from Ruhr. It's a pleasure to meet almost all of you.
Yep, most military academies allow other students to use whatever weapon they like.
Ruhr, huh? What's it like living there? There's probably a new technological breakthrough every week.
Combat uniformity is not at all
The
relevant.
Rhineford Company's based in Ruhr, and they're the largest heavy industry corporation on the continent, aren't they?
I suppose they are.
Learning so much about these
So,
characters. Yeah, right, sir.
I guess that bow must have been in that case you had with you when we first met, right? I've never seen one like it. Is there some kind of orbital mechanism built in?
There is, but I don't see how that's any of your business.
Okay. Let's skip to the end.
Yeah. Anyone got any ideas on what to do now? We've all run into each other wandering around. How about we stick together?
I think that would be for the best. It's not safe for a group of girls
Go
to
in.
travel alone. You may require protection.
Such a
You needn't be
sexist.
concerned about that.
Group of girls are by definition not traveling alone. They have each
I
other.
beg your pardon?
I don't mean to boast, but I'm confident my swordsmanship will be more than sufficient to protect us.
The Lone Rangers.
For now, I think it's best to remain in separate groups. There are still 2 of us who remain unaccounted for.
That's right. We still haven't run into that silver-haired girl.
In that case,
Sure
2
is a
teams
sword.
means double the chance to find them. 2 teams is double the coverage, and
double the chance of crossing paths with our missing companions.
I wonder if they added the in media res stuff after the actual game story was complete.
I have no objections.
There's a lot of reveals happening here that are given away in the opening.
All right.
Like what weapons they all use.
We'll see the four of you later then.
I could see it having been added in testing because the opening is like a good 45 minutes or so. Like this part is like 45 minutes before you get to mechanics.
She really doesn't seem like she's gonna let that go, does she?
It was clearly an accident. Everyone could see that. But I don't suppose it makes any difference to her.
Whatever,
Still,
dude.
is no one else worried about leaving a group of girls to fend for themselves in a place like this? There are four of us here. Perhaps one of us should go follow them.
I
Yeah,
don't
no.
think we have anything to worry about as long as Laura's with them.
Because she has the largest weapon?
She really wears her skill on her sleeve. I doubt she drags around a sword that big just for show.
It's certainly an enormous blade. I'd call it comically huge if it didn't look so dangerous. But at the end of the day, a lady is a lady.
She's taller and sturdier than I am. Though I admit it's still hard to believe anyone could swing that beast of a sword.
The protagonist is just sighing. It's like, you guys haven't played Final Fantasy VII. The protagonist has. Where he's like on his holding his hands up, like, no, I know what's happening.
Swordsmanship serves as a general basis for the techniques used by knights throughout the Empire. And her father,
right,
the
Yukipo.
Viscount, is arguably the strongest swordsman in the country. People call him the Radiant Blade Master. I doubt any of the other students here could even stand their ground against her in combat, much less beat her.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know there were still roots of the old knightly styles alive in the Empire.
I'd love to have that game.
You sure know a lot about this stuff, Reen. A hobby of yours?
It's kind of... Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden is basically that, but it's not polished enough. And it has a lot of really crass humor. I'd like it to drop the crass, get really polished, like as polished as this.
I'm a swordsman myself. I guess the lore sort of comes with the territory.
Alright.
At any rate, how about we pick up the search? I'm worried about that silver-haired girl, and we still need to track down Duke Albarea's son, too.
That's true.
Like they all have Rob Liefeld pouches.
Get rot down here.
Come on now, that's no way to treat someone you just met.
Looks like the path splits. Which way do you think we should go?
I feel a little wind blowing from the east. I bet the exit's that way. There! The wind's behind us. Let's go.
Here you come, Mom. I'm enjoying the combat, though. I said it reminds me of Ys in that respect, that it's more of a combat game than it is a story game. The story is just there to get you to more combat. Ys also kept it a little light, though, so... Right. It is a very popular series, right? It's been around for a long time. So far, I'm pretty sure the reason is the mechanics, because the mechanics are very, very tight. I really enjoy... The combat is basically Chrono Trigger meets Final Fantasy VII meets Final Fantasy X meets Xenosaga, and has all the best ideas from all those games. That was a very... snarky thing to say, Manok. No, it's not because they're starting off at their worst. It's because the path of their progression is so obvious. Like, okay, if it subverts those expectations, then I will eat crow. I'll eat my hat. I'll apologize. But all of these characters, you meet them and you're like, I know exactly where they're going with this. It's not an interesting character arc if we've seen it a billion times. Alright, let's see.
Go! My turn!
Now's the chance. Let's get him. Go!
Yeah, hardly anyone's making games like this today, so this is like your only path to get a modern, traditional Japanese RPG. I could see that being the case, Spiky.
Leave it to me.
To be clear, I'm enjoying the game so far. I don't think this game is bad. I really, really like the combat.
Leave it to me.
and the materia system, everything else they've introduced mechanically so far.
My turn.
But the story has all been eye roll. 1989. What system was the first game for, Mega Man?
Here we go.
Needle shot almost kills them, but doesn't quite.
Leave it to me.
It could be for the gameplay. I mean, there's also a certain crowd of folks, I think, who like super tropey anime story. Like, I think people are comfortable when they can predict a story. You know, sometimes they'll play a game or they'll watch a movie or they'll read a book and like, oh, I know that character's gonna betray me, and then it happens and they're like, oh man, I totally called it, and they feel really good, you know? Tried and true. I'm not sure if that's true. I played some RPGs with pretty god-awful stories that were still fun.
What's wrong?
More monsters?
Yeah, it's hardly anime exclusive.
No, not
you get
monsters.
summer blockbusters that do the same thing. Oh, thanks, Leon. I missed it. Puzzles?
You're pretty sharp.
Ninja Girl.
Oh.
Yeah, right, earlier this week.
It's the silver-haired girl.
I'm glad to see you're all right. Though it looks like there was nothing to worry about in the first place.
Nope. I'm small.
Yeah, I
and
agree,
quick.
Kupo.
These things can't lay a finger on me. Oh yeah, Fee Clausel. That's my name. You're just over halfway through. Keep it up. Later.
Thanks.
Hey, wait!
Are you sure you'll be okay on your own?
I'll be fine. I'm used to this. See you at the end.
It's a subtle distinction, too. Like, I think it's okay to have a story that involves, like, a womanizer or a misogynist.
What just happened?
Provided that the story provides the appropriate condemnation. Either through presentation, like Mad Men, for example, is a story about misogynists and misogyny and racism, but through its presentation, you kind of get the sense that the show is not celebrating those things. And a lot of anime and anime-like games are like, you know this, right? Oh man, we all love this character. Wow. No, we don't. Stop this shit.
She certainly wasn't fibbing about being quick on her feet. I guess we really don't need to worry about her.
Man.
Yeah, now I'm more convinced than ever that she.
That's optimistic that it's only 95, Spiky.
Just over halfway through? Has she already been to the exit and then come back?
Alright, let's see. Orbit, you said I got one somewhere? I did. Heal, which he already has access to. So can I give heal to somebody else? I give it to the jerkwad. Huh. Oh, is the element you can slot limited by what the core thing is? Interesting. Go.
All right. Right. Go.
Those are element locked? Oh, that's cool.
Now's our chance. Here we go. There.
It's my turn.
Okay, so I do have to give the game props for breaking some conventions, like the female characters aren't all healers and white mages. It seems the most combat competent character is a woman. That's good, moving in the right direction. It's a thing that the Valkyria Chronicles does very well, where like the army just appears to be a coin flip for every character. There's just as many, you know, male healers as there are female tank busters.
Oh, we did it!
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think the problem is that we're in a transition period right now. Like, you clearly can't subvert expectations all the time. And then everyone's just going to expect that you're going to subvert things. So I think you're right, but like we were talking about the other day in Discord, there's a difference between being at the end game when everything's kind of fair and equal representation and we can start to tell the stories we want to tell, and being in the awkward transition period where things are still kind of leaning in the wrong direction. And as a whole, things are getting better. We got to be fair. Like, video games, and especially indie games, are getting much, much better about this. Specifics. So that's cool. I can check them in battle. Should have been using fire rather than earth the whole time.
It's my turn.
But I was worried I was gonna have to do that outside of combat, and like the tension burden would be too high for me to bother.
Leave it to me. My turn. Arcus activate.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting at too, Yukupo. I guess what I'm saying is maybe it's time to put a hold on that for a little bit until we feel like this hasn't been done recently. And then we can do it again, and then it will feel novel, right? Because right now it still doesn't feel novel in a lot of cases. Especially when it comes to anime. I think this is... yeah, this... Yeah, I hear you, Spiky. Indies are just kicking ass lately. Yeah, I don't like the if you don't like it, don't buy it argument. It's really reductive. Maybe I did already come this way. Let me check. Leave me alone. I got turned around at the last enemy. Yeah. Because I can see that the chest is open. I wasn't sure if that was a fixed chest icon or not.
All right, right, go! Now's our chance. Let's get him! My turn. Arcus,
I did.
all right.
I still love Mario and buy Mario and hate the Rescue the Princess thing, because I'm not playing the game for its story, right? And it's like, the quality of a Mario game would not be significantly hampered by changing that story a little bit. It's part of the issue. You got this, you're like, oh, it's not going to be Mario if we get rid of that.
My turn.
It seems like they're, in that specific example, Yukubo, it seems like they're starting to move in the right direction. No spoilers for Mario Odyssey, but Mario Odyssey ends a little bit atypically with respect to Peach. Yeah, it's way too binary. It's not... It's oversimplifying the problem. It's saying that we have to throw the entire baby out with the bathwater. That you can't criticize one element of something that you like. If you choose to criticize one thing and say you don't like it, then you have to throw the whole thing out. It's a very childlike approach to criticism, I think. Give this one to wrestling. Most people dislike the Roman push so much they would walk out of main event matches. The booking ends up detracting from the products.
Wind's behind us.
Yeah, all right, Ninja.
Here we go.
Right, exactly, Aki. I agree.
Right.
Let's see. It gives me a little arrow if it's gonna hit both. I shouldn't need to because Firebolt should one-shot that guy regardless.
Go. There.
Okay, it's safe for now.
You're saying that because the only way I can get these things to change is to vote with my wallet, that means that I can't enjoy something like Mario, but say I'd still wish that they would change this other aspect, which is criticizing it. I may as well just not interact with it at all. You're saying that I shouldn't be able to criticize it and want it to be different. And if I really disliked the Princess Peach Rescue the Damsel in Distress trope, I would just never play Mario games if I cared that much. But that's reductive. Alright, let me try killing the things first if we can.
My turn. Arcus activate.
It's my turn. Arcus activate.
Logic in the opposite. They want any reaction, and boos are part of that reaction. The only way they change is if there's no reaction at all. I'm not buying. The only way to get something to stop is to do nothing and not express displeasure, which people won't do. That makes sense, Aki.
Here we go.
Right. Implicitly support the uncool stuff. Exactly, sir. Ooh, lucky that that missed. Also, a good counter. Oh, I thought they were close enough for that to hit both of them. Oh well.
Leave it to me. That takes care of them.
I guess it does give me the footprint markers so I don't get lost on the map like I just did. It's okay, I got into some extra battles. I'm sure this game anticipates some grinding.
Someone's fighting up ahead.
Rain!
Wait for me.
Yeah, I can't say I like 95% of this and then pay 95% of the cost for the product. Right.
Incredible. That was really something.
Judging by that display, I don't think he needs any help from us. I take it that's another school of Imperial swordsmanship?
Right. That's court fencing, an agile style favored by the
He
nobility.
is a rapier.
And judging by his poise, he's no amateur.
His sword better have magic damage on it, or my Ludo narrative is fucking dissonating hard.
Did you
Buy the whole thing a la carte.
Sorry, I was just admiring your swordsmanship. I'm Reen Schwarzer. I didn't get the chance to introduce myself earlier.
Yeah, I was just making a joke, Ninja. Guess now I know.
Elliot Craig.
Guys, Warzel. Nice to meet you.
I believe I have already introduced myself, but once again, I'm Eustace Alberea.
Said you're useless?
I
Oh,
didn't
useless.
think you had it in you. I'm impressed.
What are you talking about?
After all that bluster about finding your way to the exit alone, I wasn't expecting you to actually rely on others for help.
Man, that's so passive
I
aggressive.
assume you came to your senses shortly after you stormed off, and then wandered back to apologize like a good boy.
Pretty well localized. I gotta give credit to the localization team for this game.
Truly, the virtue of the common man. Why,
And the voice
even
acting.
nobles such as myself would be far too proud to do such a thing.
What the hell is your problem? You nobles really are all the same. So full of yourselves, it's a wonder you don't pop. And you're not just a garden variety noble either. House Alberea is one of the highest ranking in the country.
Xseed is a third party that localizes other companies' games.
I'll bet you just love looking down on us less fortunate souls, don't you?
As you know.
You're one to talk.
It's no worries,
I don't
Ninja.
need a lecture in rank from the son of the Imperial Governor.
I appreciate you being frank about it. I've got a couple other viewers with autism, so I try to be upfront if possible. If you're not sure, though, if you're ever not sure, you can always type something in hide. If you put exclamation point hide before your message, if it's about anything that hasn't come up in the game yet, then chat can see it and I won't see it.
Wait, what?
You can even, like, man, he's got it all wrong. He's really predicting this game wrong.
Karl Regnitz, the first commoner ever to hold the seat of Imperial Governor in Heimdall. The first to rule the capital.
The noble guy and the poor guy are actually going to murder each other. It's going to be great.
Lad just so happens to be a chip off that old block. Pretty rarefied air for a simple commoner, don't you think?
This fucking guy.
What does that have to do with anything? Yes, my father is the Imperial Governor, but he earned that position through years of hard, honest work. Don't you go lumping him in with you nepotists who get your titles handed to you just for being born.
My rule would just use hide if you're talking about anything that hasn't been revealed in the game yet, just as a general rule.
Perish the thought. No, I mainly just regard your father as a reformist, and a close friend of the Chancellor at that. And as you're vividly aware, his faction is in conflict with the noble faction, led by none other than the four great houses. When you look at it that way, your vitriolic disdain for the nobility suddenly seems rather cheap, wouldn't you say?
I have to say they're doing a good job of, like, flipping this interaction on its head. I'm so used to the noble versus commoner thing being like the, you know, nature versus technology thing. It's so overdone, especially in Japanese media. In this case, the commoner guy is coming across as kind of an asshole, and the noble guy's a little bit passive-aggressive and snarky, but
You son of a...
he's definitely winning this conversation, as you vividly know.
I know he's taunting you, but lashing out at him isn't going to solve anything. And Eustace, don't you think that was a little uncalled for?
It's like Eustace.
I wasn't the one who started this.
Let me... Damn it, just let me go already!
If I speculate and I'm wrong, you can talk about my speculation being wrong and
Sorry,
hide.
okay? Just... leave me alone for a while. You guys should just go on ahead with him.
Oh.
I think you went a little too far, Eustace. Being at odds with Machias is one thing, but dragging his father into it is pretty low. You're better than that.
Julius Belmondo!
Perhaps I was a bit out of line.
Paying attention, Aki, appreciate
It would
that.
seem I still have much to learn.
You can answer this.
Huh?
You look shocked.
Or, like,
Why?
to chat. Can I do this? Yes or no?
Well, you're the son of Duke Elberea, right? I wasn't expecting the son of a noble to admit he was wrong. Wait, no, that came out wrong. I'm sorry.
It's alright, Ron.
There's no need to address me so formally. We may come from different social spheres, but here at this academy, we're supposed to be on equal standing. Or so
J
the idea
is-
goes, anyway.
Very frequently pronounced like Y in Japanese
Yeah,
games.
that's true. I mean, yes, I'm with you all the way there.
Is class really that big a deal here in the Empire?
It is. This country has a long history, and the class system has been one of its central institutions for most of that. So what are you going to do, Eustace? Maki has said to go with you, but I don't want to press you into coming along if you don't want to.
Actually, as a matter of question, does anyone know why we pronounce J like that in English?
I was intending to
Like what
press onto
the
the exit by myself.
etymological history of that is? Because, like, we took Yahweh in Hebrew and made it into Jehovah. But I assume Jehovah was originally pronounced Yehovah.
But I'd prefer not to mimic the actions of his ilk, so I'll accompany you.
Yeah, it's its own, it's a just sound in Japanese, right?
What?
Would they, in Romaji, would they spell it with a Y or a J, do you know?
I'm just surprised we're worthy of your company. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having you on the team.
Tetragrammaton.
Let's just go with that.
We should get moving then. Come on.
I, okay, because you can get I followed by another vowel will get kind of a ya sound.
Let's go. Go.
That's in the Latin alphabet. Jehovah begins with an I. J. Crap. That's right. In Latin, Jehovah. Kana is one of the few languages that are like perfectly phonetic. There's no exception to the rules. If you know how to sound out each of the hiragana or katakana characters, you can pronounce it perfectly. There's no like edge cases ever. Oh, rapid thrust.
All right.
Fancy with the Romaji or sometimes with the kanji. They're nearly as strict with correct interpretations when there's artistic license involved with kanji or other languages. I want to do the katakana and hiragana games.
My turn.
Hiragana Battle and Katakana World, I think they're called. They look cool. If I could magically open up time in my schedule to study a foreign language, it would probably be Japanese. I really enjoyed my 5 years of Mandarin Chinese. It's fun to learn a non-romance language, I think, just because it's so fundamentally different. You can't cheat by using cognates and things like that. And there are a lot of like phrases and idioms that do not translate at all.
I'll handle this.
He's going to infuse additional meaning into a name. Yeah, it's the same with, because kanji's just Hanza, right? It's just, doesn't kanji literally mean Chinese characters? Borrowed from Chinese. It's all based on radicals as well. That was one of my absolute favorite things about learning Chinese, was deducing a word or understanding a word's etymology based on its constituent radicals. It's really cool.
It's my turn.
Like, I think one of my favorite examples was the
We're unbeatable.
The Hanzi, the Chinese character for thinking. Let's see, what was it? Idea and opinion both share the radical for road, but the one for opinion has the I radical, and the one for idea has the heart radical. And the idea was that your opinion is your way of seeing things, because it's a road and an I, so way of seeing. And your idea is your way of thinking, because ancient Chinese thought that you thought with your heart. They didn't really realize the purpose of the brain. So it's your way of hearting. That shit's so cool to me. I love that. It's my favorite part of the class by far.
Leave it to me.
Now's our chance. We can do this.
Here we go.
That's awesome, sir. Nice. But going from like being able to kind of understand Japanese to really fundamentally understanding it and being able to play like games from Japan is a pretty big leap. You definitely get that feeling if you follow Tomato's Legends of Localization series, where he talks about how even professional translators have completely missed the original intended point of a section in a game. Can I hit both of these guys? I can't.
I'll handle this.
You're having senioritis, yeah.
Right.
So.
Very well.
Yeah.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
getting to a point where you can get the gist of what people are saying or reading, but without a lot of practice, good luck sounding fluent, right? I think that might be a problem that's, if not unique to Asian languages, definitely aggravated. Like, I feel like you can learn enough Spanish in a few years to be able to, like, go tour and get around and have short conversations with people. There's not a lot of subtlety to the Romance languages for the most part.
I'll handle this.
Right.
I think it's easier than trying to learn English.
It's over with.
Go.
Let's see. Oh wow, I ran out of EP. Alright. Shit. Well, I know I could walk all the way back to the thingy.
I'll handle this.
Assuming that counts as not all the way physical, I guess.
My turn.
Yeah, this staff hits pretty hard. I like it.
Here we go. My turn.
I'll handle this.
Oh, we did it!
Right.
I did it!
Level up. Blue Lullaby.
Nice.
Nice, Yukipo. You didn't get upset? It's not like them putting out the Christmas stock too early. That one at least doesn't offend you. Alright, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Very well. I will serve
Nice.
as your opponent.
Ooh, it's punishing to not get the preemptive strike on these guys. Yikes. I guess they can all gather up right in front of me and I can try to use a bunch of area attacks on them.
Leave it to me.
That works for me.
Here we go. There.
I love positional combat in JRPGs. I wish more games would do it. It's expensive to do those, so I get why they don't. Enemies on the battlefield instead of random battles are also more expensive. Ways to interact with enemies on the battlefield is more expensive still. They clearly put the polish into the mechanics. I like that the physical attack on the staff wielders is actually pretty strong. For kill bonus and a triple kill. Yeah. Right, your level will have to be a bit larger to fit field enemies. No, Kaimon! What in Finland, what holidays do you still have upcoming? Here we still have Halloween and Thanksgiving. I think that's it. In terms of like marketable holidays.
My turn. Is everybody okay?
Is EP consumed when a spell is actually cast or when casting begins in this game? I assume it's when it's actually cast, but... Yeah, we don't really celebrate Veterans Day or Columbus Day, not through store.
Oh, a treasure chest.
displays or anything like that. I'm good, buddy. Alright, evade 1. Like I've heard that menu sound before. Grocery stores.
I feel like we've simply been running in circles.
Might be right. Maybe we should check where we are on the map.
I'm actually not sure if I came from that area or this area. I remember if we were generally going up or going down. Hey, that answers my question. Glad the map is as detailed as it is, though, so you can kind of figure that stuff out. Just about to say I was gonna walk all the way back to the other pillar to rest at, but assumed we had traveled far enough it was gonna be about time to get a new one.
Hey, are we...
Christmas lights during all along dark. How long is the long dark,
like
and
we
like
are.
effectively
That
what's it really
definitely
like?
seems to be the exit.
I've heard it is like what, 22 hours of darkness? Is it that extreme? You have to be really far north for it to be that
I can see
extreme.
the sunlight streaming in, so I'm guessing we're finally clear.
Ugh, this was a complete waste of time. Pointless busy work at best. Considering the school's esteemed founder, I was expecting more of a challenge.
Do you think the
Shouldn't have
light
proposed even a
will beat
modest
the
threat.
darkness? No, I think the darkness will beat the light. Jesus Christ.
Thanks,
Do
sir.
we even fight the same enemies? I feel like I've been stretched to my limits. And what was all that business about Class 7 anyway?
Good question. We've got people
It'll
here
be
from
back.
different backgrounds,
I need to beat it before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out.
even cultures. Is there some sort of secret agenda with this whole Class 7 thing that we just don't know yet?
What was that?
There.
The boss. There's a boss right after the healing point? What?
The statue?
What the heck is that?
A gargoyle come to life? What sorcery is this?
It's a Dargon. The battle music suddenly sounds very like Dragon Quest orchestral instead of the like crazy intense prog metal from the first mission. Sorcery.
Are
Yeah,
monsters
sorcery.
like this common in the Empire?
Not outside of old wives' tales, they aren't.
This thing's cutting off our only route to the surface. No choice. We have to fight it.
Right.
Finally, an opponent worthy of my skill.
Helios, help us.
This will take
Cool.
everything we have.
I feel like they've actually done a good job of segmenting the characters and separating them from each other so I can slowly get a sense of who's who. Like, I have a pretty good idea who all these characters are right now, despite the large ensemble cast, so I get to give points to the game for pulling that off successfully.
Give it up, everyone!
Very semi-light from 10 a.m. 11 a.m. and it's already dark by 3. Wow. Much darkness.
My turn.
I could do with that.
All right, let's do this.
Right, I'll handle this.
It's my turn.
Met Garm earlier this week. You want to have your cake and eat it too, Yukapo? Oh yeah, I really love that effect, Kaimom. The kind of like orange glow of snow being on the ground. Snow is my favorite. Hey, thanks for the host, Mike. How is Dragon Ball Xenoverse treating you? I still need to try that game. It's like a Dragon Ball MMO, right? Should be awesome.
Here we go.
All elements do comparable damage to him, and I don't have the ability to inflict any status effects really yet. Poison. Sturdy body repels physical attacks. Gotcha.
It's my turn.
Yeah, the thing I cast at the beginning to cause healing to happen.
Take this.
I'll come in the winter, Kaimom. Not a big sun guy.
Arcus, activate.
My turn.
Do you think I prefer green being the universal color that's used for HP healing, and blue being the universal color for MP healing? I think it said he might be blindable. Let's see. Yeah. Oh wait, I might be reading the number wrong. 100 means immune to it, or 100 means guaranteed to be hit by it. It's got it because it can't be petrified, so it has to be guaranteed to be hit by it.
All right.
It's going well. Thank you for the host, Mike. How would you rate Xenoverse? Go blind. Let's do a timeshare.
My turn.
Gotcha, Yukapo.
My turn.
Okay, 100 is no multiplier to effects chance to hit. Gotcha. So it could go over 100 potentially. Gotcha.
Leave it to me.
Oh, second phase. That's cool.
Impossible.
Ouch. So much for showing off how rad you are, buddy.
Here we go.
Interesting. Elemental efficacy has changed, where he only takes damage really from earth and fire now.
I suppose I should thank you.
My turn.
Earth is more damage now.
Leave it to me.
Wind isn't as great. Zero arts.
Here we go.
Assume the game is eventually going to explain. Oh, zero arts is just right. Arts are free on that turn. It already explained that. I've mostly been skipping those turns and ignoring the turn order benefits.
I'll handle this.
You can save your booty.
Leave it to me.
Instant cast, you're saying? Yeah, that's cool. I'll wait for him to take another hit before I bother. It's too bad my two characters that can use the elements that he's weak against
My turn.
are both the two characters that have healing magic. I guess he can use Golden Sphere too. Kime. You gotta talk really gruff all the time. And angsty.
All right.
My turn.
Let's see.
Here we go.
I suppose I should thank you. I'll handle this.
Pie baking pie. Kai Mom, you should share the badge that you made for the in-stream chat badge. It doesn't come through as well with stream artifacting, but it's really, really cool looking. You made it yourself, right? You can throw that in Discord if you feel comfortable. It's super dope. Have you done pixel art before?
Leave it to me.
There's that guaranteed critical phase. Oh, but it only is guaranteed critical if the cast actually happens on that turn. I understand. Alright. Oh, they're not in range to get healed. Interesting. Well, neither of us need healing, so... He is blinded, though. That's nice. Maybe I'll miss. Ouch. Is there a defend action in this game? And do dead party members earn XP still? Kai Gran. Almost there. Dead party members do not get XP. Phoenix Downs aren't too bad to come by, I hope.
My turn.
I prefer that. I'd rather there not be a defend command, although sometimes you can have puzzle mechanics around an enemy charging up an attack, and it being correct to defend on that turn. So that doesn't bother me. My favorite implementation of the defend command is still Mother 3, where defending slows the rate at which HP decays when you take damage. That's genius. Yeah, I like removing the defense action. Child of Light was good too. Legend of Dragoon, I think defend heals you a little bit. It shouldn't be there because it's always been there. That's right.
down, but not out.
To think about why it's being included. Someone else is gonna show up and finish it off.
I can appreciate a certain degree of tenacity, but this thing needs to just die.
It's no use. We're too spent to go another.
Mother 3 is a turn-based JRPG. It's fucking fantastic. It is so good. Balanced to be challenging. The timed attack system is genius. The whole idea of like enemies having battle music that can make the fight harder or easier is so cool to me.
You've certainly got some good timing.
And they really exploited that design space. Like there would be 2 or 3 different zombie enemies that had very similar music, but one of them would like skip a beat or be in a slightly different time signature. It was super good.
I'm sorry we took so long.
I think if Mother 3 gets an official localization, I'll play it on stream, even though we did the tomato translation. That was like the second game I ever played on
I
stream.
didn't expect to find the Dark Ages alive and well down here. It doesn't seem like it'll go down easily.
Indeed. It's brushing us off as though we barely even scratched it.
But with this many of us, we can just find an opening?
It can be frustrating though when only a few enemies have a charge attack. It's like it doesn't really justify the ability existing when you only have to use it on a couple bosses.
Fine. I guess I'll help out.
Right, it's, oh, you lose a turn. Like it could just as easily just cause you to lose a turn, right?
You.
Yeah, exactly, sir.
Take this! Break shot!
So you could do stances or an action is still taken. That's the issue, is that tactical RPGs are all about opportunity cost, and most abilities degenerate pretty quickly to where there's just an obvious correct answer with your opportunity cost. Everybody gets to go. Good job, team. Pull off the gauntlet.
This one's mine.
Cool.
We did it!
I feel like a traditional like taunt or aggro ability. Actually, defend worked pretty well in my Final Fantasy IV DS playthrough, where we were able to put the equivalent of taunt on Cecil.
I think that's the end of it.
But it was still less interesting. I basically just Cecil never did
At the very
anything.
least, that creature doesn't seem like he'll be coming back for a rematch anytime soon.
What
Called it,
happened
sir.
there
Nice.
anyway? Right at the end of the battle.
Now that you mentioned it, I did feel something wash over me for just a second there.
It was like each of us were engulfed in some faint blue light.
What?
Is that the light of friendship?
I did notice something as we fought. Perhaps it was just the blur of combat.
No, it was definitely not just the blur of combat.
But I felt like I could see everyone's movements in precise detail.
Should play video
I
games
don't think it was
more.
just your imagination.
Did we like S-Link or some shit?
Agreed. I have a feeling what we just experienced was...
The biggest selling point of the almighty Arcus? Give this man a prize.
Hey, it's Teach. Right, sir.
Looks like
Wouldn't that be
friendship
great,
and
Yukipo?
teamwork saved the day once again.
Every legend isn't true.
I'm so proud of you guys.
It'd be great if the genre-savvy characters all assume that every legend is true and it turns out they're all false. I think that even like Game of Thrones, which is pretty good about subverting fantasy tropes, gets around the every legend is true problem by just introducing a shitload of red herring false legends, but still keeping a bunch of them that are actually true. No, seriously, that's gonna happen. Plain old gaslighting from beginning to end.
I thought you'd all be happy.
Oh, that'd be great.
What are we supposed to be happy about?
I have so many questions, I'm not even sure where to start.
Oh?
I'll take a stab at it. What exactly is the purpose behind this Class 7?
I mean, we get that it's supposed to be some sort of melting pot that includes a broad cross-section of people.
America.
But why were the 9 of us chosen in particular? That is
is a valid question. There's no single monolithic reason why you all made the list. But if I had to name a major contributing factor, it'd be those Arcus orbments you've got there.
How so?
Well, like I explained earlier, the Arcus units are developed jointly by the Epstein Foundation and the Reinford Company. Like any battle orbment, they let you use arts, and these have communication functionality built right in.
So the difference is we all have cell phones?
The feature is what's known as combat linking. That's the phenomenon you all experienced just now.
So that's what that was.
Seems like a pretty apt term. It did feel like we were all connected somehow.
Nice, Menok, yeah.
Precisely. Doesn't take a genius to imagine how much of an advantage a feature like that would be on a real battlefield. An elite unit that can sense each other's movements, acting in perfect sync even in the most chaotic conditions. You can hardly put a price on that. It could bring about a revolution in the way wars are fought.
Oh man, this is some MGS4 shit, yikes. Nano machines.
It does sound rather...
real-time communication.
Idealistic. Well, yeah, the technology has its limits. Some have a natural aptitude for it, others just don't.
Yeah. Telepathy would be great.
And out of this year's fresh batch of bright-eyed students, the 9 of you turned out to have the highest aptitude.
We're even doing better than, or getting closer to telepathy. We don't have to send ravens.
And since aptitude
Messengers on
trumps
horseback.
background in Class 7, well...
Dude's running a marathon.
I see.
Yeah, I know, right, Ikupo? It always cracks me up about, like, the Child Warfare Military Academy, like, how you can address that without talking about the horrors of war at
What
all.
gives us this aptitude, though, as compared to our peers?
It'd be one thing if they were like a monster hunting company.
What indeed? As promised, if any of you have objections to being in this class, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, I don't mind the introduction of the cast. I'm starting to think that as much as I thought the in media res sequence was cool from this is what this game is going to become eventually mechanically, I think it was disruptive to the storytelling because it gave away a lot of the reveals and the plants and the setups that are in this section. Which makes me think it probably was added after the fact.
Your situation.
I still think it was necessary because I would probably have been groaning much harder if we had started with 45 minutes of Japanese high school.
The program isn't cheap to run, so we're not about to force anyone into it if they don't want to be
So,
here.
I don't know.
You should also be aware that Class 7's curriculum will be tougher than any other class's coursework. Just fair warning. So now you know. And that leaves you all with an important decision to make. Will you stick with Class 7 or not?
I can turbo mode her talking animation.
Oh, if you opt out, you'll just be placed in the class you would have been assigned to otherwise. There's no pressure.
I think I agree. Although the right way to do it, Leon, is to have the in media res opening and be careful to construct it in a way that it doesn't spoil any of the reveals, plants, or setups
Nobles will land in class
in the
1 or
actual
2,
opening.
Commoners in 3, 4, or 5. It's still just the first day, so there's no real catching up you'd have to do. I'm sure you'd fit in just fine.
Triumphant friendship, class music.
I'll do it. Whatever Class 7 has to throw at me, I'm game.
Okay, I gotta get to a save point. We're wrapping here in about a minute.
Just like that? So you're the first then. You seem pretty sure about it. Any particular reason?
I'm the
Not
protagonist.
really. I just feel like I've put my family out asking them to send me to this school. So, if it gives me more to show for my time here, I'll take whatever opportunities come my way.
This is day one.
A noble sentiment.
So I'm standing in the center for some reason.
Count me in as well. The greater the challenge, the more I can push my...
Let's make it 3, considering how
I'm just
far
gonna
I
read
came
the
to attend
text
this
here so
school.
we can get to a save.
Looks like we've got the country's strongest freshmen on board. Any more takers?
Foreign
Allow
exchange
me to
student.
take part as well. I was only able to come because of the school's generosity.
Sign me up. I kind of feel like fate brought us here for a reason.
And that's a yes from our 2 orbital staff testers. Your weapons are still in the prototype stage.
Of course. Let me join too.
Huh?
Oh, there's a surprise. I was almost certain your rebellious streak would see you opt out.
It does bother me that you've got us using these Arcus units, but if I let every little nitpick like that hold me back...
Words to live by. And that brings us to an even 6.
Don't really care either way. You can choose.
Not this time. That was the deal, remember?
Fine.
Well, at least you committed. We've got a magnificent 7, which leaves just the 2 of you. I can see you got issues with each other, but if you just look past your difference...
Like hell we will! The exploitation of the common people by the... Unless something is done about it.
I appreciate your candor.
Well, at least that makes this simple.
Appreciate your candor, but I don't give a fuck.
I, Eustace Alberea, claim my place as a member of Class 7.
Thanks. Putting it that way.
Why? You're the son of a duke!
I'll thank you not to tell me how I'm supposed to feel. As far as the House of Alberea is concerned, besides, this should at least ensure I won't have fools flitting about it. That said, I have little interest in getting drawn into your petty argument. I think it would be prudent for us to go our separate ways.
I don't need some pompous ass.
Oh, what's he
who
streaming,
life
sir?
on his father's coattails telling me what to do. I'm in. Come, you might have had your successes spoon-fed.
Would have been great if one of them said no.
Sure seems that way.
Oh.
So, Sundrum.
God shouldn't give a guy a...
Well, with that, I hope you keep those high spirits all here.
Everybody's in Class 7 and someone's watching us from above.
Certainly promised.
But perhaps this too.
How do you mean?
Seeing them there, I feel they have a light that can break through the storm clouds.
Kim Clark was around earlier too. This is the same opening from the title screen, I assume, right? Man, Mercer's inclusion is shocking. Okay, thanks. It's a cool opening, but... Hey, thanks game, good looking out. Only 2 minutes over, that's not so bad. Cool, well, it gives me the option to delete save data. Okay, thanks everybody for hanging out. I'll give you a heads up on what's coming up for next week.